Hi, my name is Aaron Turner. Welcome to Portland, and this is America's Security Guard. What first really got me into security was just the thought of just like, I always wanted to protect people, and I felt like this was a position I was made for. And a lot of it kind of started with my sisters. I was always protective of my sisters. And then just learning the ropes about it kind of came from my dad, just being a police officer and just learning all the things that were important about law enforcement. So I thought security was a good step for me, honestly. And just moving forward, just the agencies I've worked for, Portland Patrol and Corporation was my first ever security job. Taught me a lot about the laws, city ordinances, and a lot about how to communicate with people, how to be involved in the community. So did a little bit of that, moved over to healthcare a little bit, also learned more about medical stuff, trainings and skills and knowledge that I built and learned, and then went over to Echelon. So Echelon was just a huge, step for me, honestly, because they provided growth. They provided me being armed security, and they provided me an opportunity to be a private investigator. So having those accolades is definitely huge for me, and I just want to continue to grow in the public safety field. So definitely with Echelon, they provided me that and taught me a lot about community engagement, outreach, providing resources, a lot of things that I hadn't learned in these other security industries that I worked with. So Echelon was definitely a big stepping stone for me, and I'm hoping whether if it's moving towards law enforcement or continuing to work security, I want to continue to build my resume, and I want to one day own my own company. So I think just through them, they've really taught me a lot about leadership. Through my years of working with Echelon, I worked for a bunch of properties, residential, commercial properties, all that you can really think of. I've worked in areas such as Goose Hollow in downtown Portland, Lloyd Center, or even just as crazy as it gets, Old Town, which actually is one of my favorite districts. I get to talk with people, I get to, see familiar faces, and like a huge culture change over there. A lot of it's homeless. Homeless is a lot to deal with, and especially with the addiction crisis. I think just, how I deal with it a little bit is just, friendly, community communication, I think is huge. Definitely, I love to talk to people, and I don't let my size kind of intimidate anybody. I mostly just approach them and I talk with them and getting to know who they are, like how they grew up, what their background's like. Getting to know them, that really helps them understand that you care for them rather than just wearing the security uniform. They think you're just going to tell them to F off or kick them off property or beat them up, as some of them will accuse you of. But I think the big thing for me is just, how to talk with people, how to approach people, how to be respectful. And I think with Echelon, they've definitely provided me the coaching with that through the professionals that we have. And a lot of professionals on our team that have worked in law enforcement, that have been in the military. We even have a guy that's our training coordinator that was in the military, and he was a former UFC fighter. So having that kind of guy in your corner that's big and friendly really taught me a lot of how to communicate with people and just really provide them the resources that Echelon is able to give us. So that's something that has really helped me up my game a little bit with Echelon and just through my security career. I think what people really need to think about, they want to go in this kind of field, is to understand the risks that they're taking. It's not going to be an easy day every day as some people think. There's always going to be changes in the security field. So what I tell them is really think about this occupation and what their family and friends would think about it, because there's a lot of worries that can happen, doing security. And I think that's something to really think about, and what you plan on doing. Do you see yourself growing, or are you just working just to make money? I have this thing where it's like, if I'm going to work for somebody, do I want to be in the same position that they are? Do I want to lead the way that they lead? Do I want to be in the position that they are? It's like, no, I think I could do better. Then I think this is not for you. I think you need to work into something else. But I think, what's important is you really look into this occupation, understand, the safety risks, and are you able to stay aware? Are you able to stay awake? And are you able to talk to people? I think it's important the way you communicate with people and provide services, especially when it comes to security, is learning how to talk to people. A big thing too in getting the security is staying fit. You know, some positions provide you to stand, sit, walk around, drive around. I think for me, what I really like is I'm on the patrol team. So we're always driving around, we're walking around properties, and we're responsible for a bunch of properties in our area. So for me to stay fit is definitely important because it's 12 hours, it's a long day. I like to be active, proactive, I like to talk to people. So I think it's important. Fitness was definitely a big thing for me. I got into MMA Jiu-Jitsu about 2 years ago. I started out lifting when I was 14 years old. My dad kind of took me under his wing, taught me how to lift. He was a power lifter, so taught me how to lift heavy weights. And just as I've gotten older, had to learn different types of fitness compared to recreational fitness. And that's something that I started to do. And then I did professional fitness to where I got into MMA Jiu-Jitsu, kind of learning things like that. And it's really helped me just up my game. It's helped me stay awake, be healthy, and perform my job to the best of my abilities. So it's definitely made a change for sure. I think the biggest thing is working on your flexibility first. You know, you're gonna be moving around a lot, you gotta have good mobility. Secondly, you do have to be strong. You gotta be able to be stronger than the average human being just a little bit. But I'd definitely emphasize strength training. You know, if you've never done it before, I'd start with coaching a little bit, understand how it works so you don't hurt yourself while you're doing it. And then last but not least, obviously cardio is important. You know, you can look big and strong, but if you're not able to run for help or chase somebody down, then, you know, you definitely got to up your cardio a little bit. So definitely those three are important. You know, definitely your flexibility, you got to work on that, mobility, flexibility. Strength and conditioning is definitely important.
Oh, here we go. It's always fun when the big boys step to the table.
All right, gentlemen, to the center.
Aaron Turner, this man is fired up. He's all over the place. He's jumping up and down,
Waist
going
touch.
side to side on the stage.
Stand up straight.
I just started getting the Powerslap. It's owned by the UFC. It started about 15 months ago, and it's really grown rapidly. I think for me, it's just an opportunity to gain connections a little bit. We're around a lot of security, executive protection through our events, so it's good to talk to them and kind of, you know, build relations and maybe one day work for Dana White. Who knows? I mean, how many people can really say that? But
1, 2.
Powerslap has definitely been, you know, I'm more recognizable about it sometimes, and a lot of people in a positive way have just, you know, noticed who I am and just notice what I do for work. And also helps, you know, promote like security as it is. You know, a lot of people that, you know, are in Powerslap, some of them do security, some of them do MMA. So when I started doing that, it really helped me become a better security guard. So that's something, you know, that started off my Powerslap career.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mark Smith calls a stop to the match in round number 2, declaring the winner by TKO, Aaron the Colossus Turner.
Thanks for watching us and supporting us. Be sure to message or subscribe to OPSEC Media Group if you'd like to learn more about private security life. Be sure to subscribe and like.